Hello, Blue Whisper here. This is a follow-up to last night's video, Spiritual Diagnosis with an Egg. And so since this diagnosis usually is something that's kind of read over a 3-day period, this is day one of that period. And really it doesn't have to be in increments of 24 hours. It could be anytime the next day, and the next day, and so on. Um, So the things that I looked for immediately when I broke this egg last night, if you watched the video, were anything that could give me some indication of what's going on with this person. And I also stated last night, this person um, believes that they've had a curse placed on them when they were just a child. So more than 40 years they've been carrying around what they believed was a curse, and that may be true. And so when I cracked the egg open, the first thing I was looking for was signs of a curse. Um, I didn't notice it at first, but when I looked a little bit closer, there was blood in the yolk. It looked like spider bane. And it was clear, and it was there. And now, today, the first day I'm looking at the egg, I still see the indication of the blood in the yolk. A little bit thicker today and darker. There's a lot of bubbles on the walls of the inside of the glass, inside the water, on the walls of the glass. There's a cloudiness around the yolk. The yolk is becoming a little bit more misshapen. I'm noticing, and what I'm seeing right now in the yolk, and I'm going to have to go into some divination, and I don't really want to give a reading on what I'm seeing, the vision, or the image, actually, that I'm seeing in the yolk. Um, I mean, I'll tell you what I'm seeing in the yolk. I see a face in this yolk of a bearded man. I can make out the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and beard. And even some hair is what I'm seeing in it. But to really intuitively know what that means to me right now, I'll have to go into a divination, because this is something I'm seeing right now as I'm speaking. I've already done my daily rituals for the day. And so I just want to bring this up a little bit because I know it's hard to see the yolk. The yolk is a lot darker, I think, than it was yesterday. I know my camera's horrible, so it's really hard to see the dark blood line that's in there. Um, and I like to keep it on the paper with the person's name on there, because that's the person that I'm doing the diagnosis for. I am seeing some other things in here as well. Like initially when I first opened the egg, I did see little dark pepper-like spots that were floating around the yolk, close to the surface of the yolk. I'm still seeing those. They're bigger. There's more of them. The water itself above it seems clear. At the bottom around the yolk, of course, it's going to look a little bit more yellow and thick and cloudy, and it does. Um, and there is a piece of egg white that has turned completely white, and it's the tiniest little piece that's floating on the top. Um, and this is only, I still need to give it some more time. It's totally doing something different than the last time I've done, a reading for someone for spiritual diagnosis. Um, so anyway, like I said, I want to give that more time. But a few things, and you can Google this and look up some of, um, the things that it could be telling you with what it's doing. I'd like to say 90% of this is intuition. You get yourself into that zone, when you're doing the reading. But a lot of times the formation of clots, different figures that you might see, like I'm seeing a man's face, um, the turning, um, well, the misshapen yolk, anything, if the yolk breaks in two or anything like that, um, maybe parts of the white would come to the surface. Um, that can be indicative of a lot of things. I mean, if you're seeing the yolk at the bottom and the white, all of the white floats to the top and turns completely white, and it looks like it's being held together by a thin cord, and to me, it kind of reminds me of an umbilical cord. And if you're seeing something um, like that, I mean, that's something that has to do with reproduction. Okay, so maybe if you're seeing the blood, then you're going to think that the hex, the curse, or whatever might have something to do with the reproductive system. By that, I also mean that it might be affecting the hormones that have to do with the reproductive system. And everyone knows if your hormones are off, if you have a low testosterone, or if you're not giving enough estrogen, if you're going through menopause, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. But if you're seeing anything that looks like something from the reproductive system, if you're seeing something shaped like a penis, if you're seeing something shaped like ovaries or a testicle, then or even something that has to do with an actual fertility, like an umbilical cord. All right, so when you see something like that, I mean, right away, the first thing you want to look at that could be affected, and it might even be a physical manifestation. Um, and of course, I want to put this out there. If there is physical things going on medically, and you believe it has to do with the curse, definitely want to get the curse removed if you can somehow. But don't forsake the doctor. Still, you need to go to the doctor. You need to seek treatments and medical care as well. Um, so anyway, you want to consider those kind of things. If the water's transparent, but the white and the egg yolk lay at the bottom, and it resembles like a jellyfish, maybe the white is thicker on the top, or has like little legs like a jellyfish or whatever, that might indicate anxiety. It could mean anger. It could mean, um, I'm going to say even depression. Has something to do with negative emotions, maybe mental health. Okay. Um, if if the water turns completely yellow, and the darker the yellow, the more concerned I would be. That might have something to do with the liver, gallbladder. If you see a lot of air bubbles and they're like completely coating the inside of the jar, like this one has a lot of air bubbles right now, but I feel like it's too soon to really make a call on that. But when you see a lot of air bubbles like that, you might want to consider um, lungs, anything to do with breathing, respiratory, viral infections, anything like that, maybe bronchitis. If the yolk is gray or like getting really dark, and maybe it looks like it's becoming a hard-boiled egg. Um, if there's long web-like threads that are forming, maybe floating to the top, definitely the grayish right there it tells me there's negative energy, maybe a hex, a curse. If the water is completely transparent, excuse me, if the water is completely transparent and you don't see a bunch of bubbles and the yolk, and if it looks bright and perfect, just like as if you cracked it yesterday, um, then there's nothing wrong. It's clean, there's no hex, no curses, nothing going on. I mean, if it looks like it's supposed to look when you crack an egg, then then I would say that if there are any other problems that you might experiencing, um, either repeat the test, or just know that it's not because of something spiritual. But I mean, in any case, whether you have a diagnosis here, um, maybe when you go to the doctor, have them look at those things. Definitely don't give up doctor care or medical care in place of this. This is to work alongside of it. This is about your spiritual being, because we are all souls just having a human experience, and so our bodies need to be taken care of. Um, Having a spiritual diagnosis can be helpful because you're working on two levels of taking care of a disease process that could be caused by um, negative energies. Helping to remove those negative energies will, help you or the person that you're working for um, have a little bit more faith, and they feel like they're doing everything they can to rid themselves of this negative, process. And so, with that being said, a little bit of background given and everything, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video for today. And um, you'll have another one, and we'll take a look at it tomorrow and see where we're at on it. Right now, I don't want to really say too much about what I feel is going on here. I definitely want to go into divination um, and look at the yolk again, because now that I'm seeing a face in it, I'm kind of wanting to know what that means. Um, don't know if I'll share the meaning of that in the videos, because like I said, this is something I'm doing for somebody. It's not my own. And I think that pretty much depends on what she says when I talk to her about it. Um, but anyway, you have a good day. Blessed be. Oh, one more thing. If you like my videos, hit subscribe. Give me a like. If you don't, go ahead. You can subscribe, because that way I can have another chance to offend somebody again. And, it's all good. So have a great day.